everybody. We are here to celebrate the winners of the InterSystems Grand Prix Developer Contest for 2022. We are very excited to be here. Thank you, all of those who participated. It's been a great event. A quick recap. Again, the Grand Prix contest this year, developers could submit any application using any of our technology. There were 2 categories. There was the expert categories, and here's the list of winners. It was a tie for 3rd place. We also had a community nomination category here, and this is the list of winners here. There's some overlap, as you can see, in winners. It's the biggest prize money contest of the year with over $22,000 in prizes, and there were several technology bonus categories, and we had 17 technology bonuses this year, which is fantastic. The submissions have been amazing. We are all very excited by what you folks were all able to produce this year. So let's start to dive into the demos. So I'll call out a specific people. We're going to start with Dmitry with the 3rd place in the community section. So please do a brief intro of yourself, and then do up to 5 minutes of demo. And so we have a total of, let's see, we have a total of 5 demos to get through in the next hour, but it's going to be awesome. All right, let me stop sharing here, and I'll let Dmitry take over.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dmitry. Already everybody knows me.
Yes, we know you.
Can you? I hope. It's so much. Left screen. Which one? What one? Yep. Can you see it? Yeah, I hope so.
Yes.
So, Dmitry Maslennikov, company, CaretDev, community, and so on. Not so much about me. To the project I did. Like just few days before the Grand Prix contest was Docker held Docker Con online, and they introduced a new version of Docker desktop and a new, very new feature, which right now in beta yet, but it, like the first time when they edited. So, and even right after that, they offered to developers to develop own extensions for this new way. And they publish it SDK, so you can, they publish it documentation, SDK, so everybody can do it. And I decided to do something for InterSystems and to have something useful. We have InterSystems have containers InterSystems Con, where all images officially publish it. And but the way there is no way to see what's there. There's no UI. One of the way was like use CLI tool, Docker.ls, to see versions and so on. So I decided to inject this UI implement UI and inject it to Docker desktop itself. So how it looks like? It looks like this. So this is desktop UI, desktop Docker desktop, and there is extensions, new UI for extensions. There is marketplace where just a few extensions available. They're very limited to be added, but it's possible, and it's my installed extensions. It says not unpublished. It means not publish it in their marketplace, but it's kind of the same way. Some README, screenshots, publish, share, changelog, empty, so on, and we can go to the extension. And it's quite simple. It's just a web UI based on React. We have here just IRIS images available. This community edition can be switched to ordinary editions, which shows a log. It means that it requires authentication. It uses Docker authentication, so you don't need to enter it somewhere else. So it uses your authentication used for if you need to Docker pull it. Also switcher for ARM64 images, so you can see ARM64 images, and also this measure versions. It's not to show so much because InterSystems cleaned it quite good, but it means that for probably it will be visible here. Oh, it should show only versions latest between 2022.1. So the latest in this part. So it will not show duplications between builds and so on. CMON versions, so on. There's search by name, search by version 22, so on. There is also pull button. Pull and delete button. How working pull button? It doesn't have UI about the progress, because it just calls manually Docker pull and Docker image. So it doesn't have any feedback. Probably it will be changed in future versions of SDK. So yeah, it's just a beta. So maybe it can be improved. And also interesting thing about how to use it in. So we pull it and we can copy the this version. Oh yeah, we see this image pulled notification, so have some notification about it. So we can copy paste this image name to our Docker file, so we can use it. And refresh button, which forcefully refresh new information about new images from containers InterSystems Comp. But between sessions, it stores in local cache, so you can refresh it, return back, close it, return back. It will reuse previous cache, so you don't need to refresh it very often. Yes. So I see many things that how it can be improved. This feature is like a Docker container even like it's even bunch of containers. It uses Docker Compose, so it can run as many containers as you wish for your particular task. And it's possible to make it like discover any iris images running close to in this particular instance of where Docker is running. So it can like kind of have be like a window to your running iris instances. Or maybe it could be like a way to start new cluster of iris on your local instance of Docker. So many ways how it can be improved. So, but I started just with this issue with this way. But yeah, I hope it will be very useful in future as well. Oh, probably that's it for me.
Great job, Dmitry. It looks very easy to use and very useful indeed. Any comments from the team?
I can say that thank you, Dmitry. I use it now, this extension every day. Like it's really handy to copy tags of images. Thank you. And filter is very handy too to find something. My question is, do you plan to add Docker Hub images or also community images that we have like on InterSystems DC?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you can see right now that I have automatic in macOS. I have like automatic day to night, so it's night mode automatically switched on, and it's perfectly have a perfect time when it's switched this mode, and it's switched.
Nice.
Looks very nice. Yes, I think that I can add more places for Iris for InterSystems. For like on Docker Hub, we have InterSystems DC. We have InterSystems organizations where we can use also pull images with Iris. So yes, for sure. I think it will be useful as well. And like during the watching time, I found that there's InterSystems uses containers InterSystems for some own private images. So I added kind of support for InterSystems as well. So they have extra tab here, and they can search own private images as well. So should be handy for InterSystems stuff as well, I hope.
Perfect. Thank you very much. All right, let's jump over to Mohammed for third place in the expert category, the IRIS Fire client.
Hi all. This is Mohammed Waseem. I'm basically from Pakistan, but currently working here at Jeddah, Saudi Arabia in International Medical Center. So let me share my screen, please. Okay, so this is my application. This is IRIS Fire client. So we have online demo. I'll just go through in later stage. Video is available. So these are some of the features of this application. Mainly it can connect to any open file server, and we can get the resources. We can list on the details of that resources. By default, InterSystems Fire Accelerator Service and Smart Health IT Open Server are registered by default, and we can use it. Basically, the file server is all about the repository of resources So we can get the resources information. The main resource is our patient resource, and we can get the patient resource and all the resources linked to that resource patient. And then we can search in patient resource. We can create patient resource and patient observations, and of course, we can see in the web application. So basically, I'm using embedded Python, and I'm using this Python file client Py. So this is the basically Python library, and they have very detailed documentations here. So I'm using container. There is also ZPM available. So let's start. The application is already started in the container. So let's connect to the terminal. We can use this command IRIS session IRIS. Okay, so here basically it's using the this is the object script. We have two classes here. One is the file server, which is persistent class. It is saving the server information. We have a server name, endpoint. This is the main thing where we are connecting the API key if there is, and then OAuth endpoint. And this is a file client class. This is our main class which we will use. They have different functions. So first time it's initiating and it's registering these servers, these two servers here. And then we can even register server. The command is here. We can register server by passing the description, and this is endpoint, and key and OAuth2 is optional. If it's there, we can just provide. So by this command, we can register the servers. So this is a register server, and then the list of server. This method is using this is the class method. So we can just list down the all the server registered by using this command. Okay, so it will list down all the server. So this is active one. 2 is active one, and first is not active. So we can activate the servers by using again the same class. This is this function set file server by just passing the ID of the server. Now the main thing is to get resources from the file server. Okay, one thing is here that I'm using globals to activate the server to get the information from active server. This is a one active file server. So when I issue this command to list servers, it will list all the resources of the current active server. So let me run it here. So what it will do, it will read all the resources of the active server and list down the server. So these are all the resources this server has. So the next thing is to get the counter, how many count. And as I mentioned earlier, the patient is our main resource. So let's count how many patient is registered in the server. So we have a command here to count. This is a function. Again, this is a object script, and it's connecting to the file library. Just let me copy. So it's counting the resources in this server. We can just print this count. Okay, it's saying that there are 50 resources listed. Patients are registered in this server. So let's get the detail of these 50 patients. So again, we can use this command here. So we can just use get source function and just passing by the resource. So these are the resources we can list down: patient, observation, procedure, immunization, encounter, organization, condition, and practitioner. We can add more. This is just some of them I added. So just type here, copy and use this command, get resources, get all the patient, get resource patient, it will list down all the resources in this patient. So this is what it's retrieving all the patient resources. This is ID and name given, date of birth, and gender. Same way we can print all the observations just by. So these are all the observations in this server. So these are all the observations showing the ID, category. We have different category, either laboratory, vital signs, survey. There is a code, the Cilianic code, and the value and the date, of course. Now the next main thing is to get the resources against the patient. So we can list down these of the resources detail against the patient by passing the patient ID. So let me, because this is a patient ID. Okay, let me activate our accelerator server and just set, because this information is from IRIS accelerator service. So by pressing 1, this is our server, so it's activated. So now let me read the patient, all the observation against the patient 1. So what it will do, it will get all the observation against this patient. So this is a patient 1, this is a subject in this resource, and these are all the values for this patient. So this same way we can also list down all the encounters, all the immunization, organization, practitioner against that patient. So next is to searching in the resource. So we can search in the resource by passing different parameters, and here in the file site we have all the details of all these parameters. So we can find it here. Anyway, I think it's taking time, but anyway, let's run it here. So now I'm searching the patient where ID is equal to 2395. Enter, and it will list down if there is a, so this is a patient we have, this is a male patient in our list. So same way we can search by name, by gender, etc. So I don't know why it's taking time. Anyway, so we can create a patient. So this is, again, we are using this function. Just let me show you one more thing. Basically, this client is communicating with the Python library, which is this one. This is here I'm using the embedded Python. When I'm saying count resources, so basically it's getting the information of the server and then importing this library, which is IRIS file client, and then we are using the function of this library, which is here in the Python, and this is a library. So this is a main library. Then it's this is basically the main FirePy, the library which I showed earlier. So it's just importing the client and then communicating based on the parameters. So this is the main library. So here, when we are creating the patient, so we can use this create patient object class function, which will communicate to the IRIS, this Python library. So let's create this patient. We have to pass the patient given name, family name, date of birth, male. This is the minimum at least, and there are other parameters as well. So let's create this patient. Enter. Okay, so the patient created successfully. Let's list down this patient by create patient. Let's search the create patient's name. So it will also, we can use this command in the search. let's take it. So we created this patient GN. So just say the name is, for example, okay, so it will search. So these are all the patients created. So I created two earlier. So this is the latest one which I created. So this is the ID 8118. So the same way we can create the observations as well against the patient by using this command create observation. What it need, the patient ID and the Alianic code and the value, and then it will create this observation. So this is all, and the next is this we can see here. When it's creating, it will create the observation and display the details. So these are some of the features, and we can of course add more. And then we have this interface here, web application. So let me open it from here, the demo. Super user sees. So this is the interface. Basically what it's doing, it's getting the active server and reading some of the counter of the resources, listing down all the patients. And these are all activated, all the registered server here. So we can click on any patient and we can retrieve the observation against that patient. So these are all the observation, and these are the other resources against this patient. We can just select another server. Currently it's Smart Health IT. These are the resources. We can just select the other one. So this is InterSystems Fire Accelerator service. So it's reading the resources against this server. So here we have 30 patients, and these are the details. And again, we can just click and we can retrieve all the resources details.
Через минут 15-20.
Okay, so that's it. That
is awesome. Yeah. Great job, Muhammad. I was just at Fire Dev Days conference, and so I know that library like this would be extremely useful for innovating in healthcare. Awesome job. Do you find this useful in your own work, Muhammad?
Yeah, it's very useful. Actually, I'm already working on project which is Firebase. So this functionality is missing. You know, we have a file server, but clients, especially in the ObjectScript side, I couldn't find any libraries. So I thought let's work on it. So we can enhance this one to add all the resources as well, and even this website can be enhanced more further to display all the details.
Fantastic. Any quick comments from the team?
Yeah, I had a question. So it seems like your Fire client in ObjectScript is just basically a wrapper around the Python Fire client. Did you do that?
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Did you do that because you wanted to write the UI in CSP?
Sorry?
Did you do that because you wanted to write the user interface and you wanted to use CSP for the user interface instead of, let's say, keeping it all in Python, using embedded Python, and using like a Python native web server like Flask?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my aim is for this CSP web application. I can do it in Flask application as well, but my aim was to just do it all in the InterSystem by using the CSP application. So that's why, and also to use in the terminal, so we can use it from there.
Cool. All right. Let's move on. This is the team win. Another third place winners in the expert category. This is José, Enrique, and Henry for IRIS Megazord.
Hi everyone, I'm Enrique. Let's just share my screen with you, all of you, to introduce our project. Our project is called IRIS Megazord, Flow Editor Edition. This is our development team. I'm Enrique. I start to work with InterSystems technology in 2003. And since then, I developed a few projects in partnership with José and Henrique. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi guys, I'm José, working a lot of time with InterSystems product. Go ahead, Henrique.
I'm Henry. I have 6 years of experience with the InterSystems product.
And here, why the Megazord? Oh, if you know what is Power Ranger is, or Tokusatsu is a Japanese series of action series especially for kids. We grew up in the 80s and 90s, so we want to try this word just to live here. And the main idea of this project for contest was just put all of the ideas together and package it with a new shape, and that's it. It's to bring the idea of the flow editor, a nice interface to create easier productions, or to make things at least a little easier, especially for those that are not so familiar with InterSystems stack. And also, where you put this, where you host the page, the feature for flow, the idea behind this is put everything together to show to community that our for the last 2 years, we can find a way to put some ideas together to be useful and keep growing the projects, keep improving the community. Okay. Our previous model, IRIS History Monitor, and a dashboard for monitoring system performance, and license consumption, and ZPM Explorer, an graphical interface to install package manager, packages in Open Exchange. And this is our previous products in a new interface, put it together, but that's not the main idea of this product, not at all. This is the flow editor.
Okay, guys.
What the flow editor is, I pass the floor to José so he can give you a nice idea what's the concept behind it, what this flow editor does.
Okay, thank you, Henrique. So as Henrique said, our goal here is to create a kind of wizard to create IRIS interoperability productions. So this is an experimental project that there are a lot of improvements to do that, but I will try to explain the main concept with this kind of MVP for our idea. So in the front end, we have a flow diagram editor. It's just an idea of you give to the user a set of boxes which we call nodes, which do some actions in the productions. Those boxes will be mapped to business servers or business operations in the IRIS production, depending of the goal of each node. So the front end creates a flow definition, which is just JSON, and we using a schema which we created. So this schema is sent to an API. This API get this schema, this flow definition, and do some processing in it in order to create another definition, which is closer to production, an IRIS interoperability production. And finally, this schema is used to create an IRIS interoperability production. So Go ahead, please, Henrique. And we designed our system in order to, of course, take advantage of all stuffs previously created for IRIS interoperability. I mean, business services and business operation. But in order to use in our framework, let's call that, you need to wrap your business service and business operation in special classes, which we call IRIS Flow Business Service and IRIS Flow Business Operation. This is because we need to add some features to the standard business service and the business operation, such as a target. In this step of the project, we didn't use business proxies, but so in order to can connect one node to another one, we use the notion of target. And also we have a default message, which we call generic message. In this message, we have a string property, which is the main information of the node, and also a context property in order to plug metadata about the message, about the flow in actually. So okay, go ahead, please. Okay, I will do a quick.
Sure. Let me just stop my share screen, and I just want to shout out Henrique and José, and without those two amazing developers, the idea, I just gave the idea. So those developers made the idea come to life, and this is just happening because of those two. So thank you very much to be part of my team.
Okay, we are a team. So I will do a quick presentation, a quick demo here. So this is our IRIS Megazord portal. We have the previous modules, as Henrique said, but we'll focus on the flow editor. So I will do a kind of quick examples here. We have those nodes for now. We have nodes for dealing with email and Telegram. The Telegram node was a work from Nikolai. I forgot the surname, but it's a previous work from Nikolai on Telegram. Yes, actually didn't available in Open Exchange. There is not a ZPM module, but I'm planning to send a pull request for that. And we can deal with files as well, and some simple operations here. So the first example, we'll be using Telegram. So this is the input node, a node which will receive messages from Telegram. We can see here the class name, the SSL configuration, as the API requires HTTPS, and the Telegram API key was stored as a IRIS credential. So we have to put the credential name here. Next, we have to use the two Telegram node. Okay, and there are the same properties, just one extra property here that is a chat ID. So if the chat ID is not in the context, you need to provide it here. But as the front Telegram knows this information, it automatically insert this information in context. So we don't need to do anything. So we need to gives a name to our flow and the name of package and the class name, or better, the production name. So here we use user.telegram test1 and click on generated. And now here in production, Oh, sorry. Something goes wrong. Oh, sorry, what I did wrong here.
I think you need to click generate. Maybe you haven't clicked it.
Yeah, I clicked it. So,
okay, sorry.
Yeah, I was afraid of that. Okay, let me check on the network what is happening. Okay, the same that does not, that's another ID. So let's check to use another one here. And okay, so there is some improvement to do. So let's open it and start the production. And let's type something in Telegram. And we have the message sent back. Okay, so now let's stop it. And let's try another example. We development a node, which is actually a business service called From Fire as a Service, which is a business service to query Fire resource using the InterSystems Fire Accelerator service. So we need to provide an API key, which also stored in as a IRIS credential, and the deployment ID. So I'm previously set up an account in the Fire as a service. We also need to provide the type of the Fire resource, in this case, a patient. And optionally, you could provide an ID for querying just one resource, or a query string for to improve your search. In this case, we start just using a fixed ID. So the idea here is to get the information and send to Telegram. So I need to, again, include a to Telegram. But in this case, as the message from Fire as a service, Fire Service Accelerator service is a JSON, we need to do some kind of mapping here. And in this project, we just created a operation called object script operation. It's just a way where you can create object script code to be executed when it receives a message. So you could process this message and send it forward to another node. In this case, what I intend to do is to get the input from the Fire Accelerator service, which is a JSON, and parse it as a dynamic object, and extract its ID and trace to the production, and then use the patient name to set up a message. Here, in this case, it's just a reminder for an appointment. So let's copy this code. Okay, here we have two properties for define expression, define code. One for the main, for the string information in the message, and another one for the context. In the context, for context, in this case, we need to get the Telegram chat ID. So here, similar to the previous one, I'm parse the JSON, gets the patient ID, and query a global database to get the email and Telegram credentials. Open that credential and extract the password, which actually is the chat ID in this case, and set the chat ID to the context. So now my my message has the proper context to be sent to the to Telegram node. So let's just plug those nodes here, give another name, fire the servers test 1 generated. Okay, let's open it, start it, and wait a few seconds. And we have our patient here and the remind and the message processed by the object script operation. And that's the last demo. We can do a slide change here, and instead of query for a specific ID, we can use the query parameter to get, for example, the first 3 patients. Let's get another name. Come back here. The test tool is here. Open it, start it, and wait. And here we have our 3 patients here, which the same chat ID. In the real case, the chat IDs must be different, but in this case, just for a demo.
Nice.
So that is it.
Nice, great job, guys. Love the interface. Any comments, quick comments from the team? All right, let's jump over to Sean Connelly for Cloud Studio, 2nd place in the expert category.
Right, there's my mute button. And let me share that screen. There we go. How's that looking? Okay. My name's Sean Connelly. I'm based in the UK, and I think I've been doing InterSystems products about 25 years now. Product I'm showing, or the project I'm showing today is Cloud Studio. It's on Exchange, and it is also on ZPM now, so that can be installed with Install Cloud Studio. Cloud Studio is a web-based IDE, so it works completely inside a browser. So I'm just literally navigating to a CLS page, just as the sort of bootloader of the application itself. The majority of the application is essentially a JavaScript SPA application, and it's using Atelier for most of its backend at the moment, although that will probably be augmented as time goes on. Let me start by showing that we can connect to any of my local namespaces. In fact, let me try and increase the size a little bit here so you can see it. So I'm going to make sure we're synced in. So at the moment, you'll notice the spinner loads up, and that's actually loading all of the assets in one go. So I think the plan over time is to try and optimize parts of the application where if there's too many assets to load, to do them sort of in a lazy load way. And you can see if I expand all on here, this is rather large tree, and it's at the moment it's reasonably performant. I haven't had to do too many things to improve that that performance. Should I get that out of the way? There we go. So I'm just going to open up some random classes here, and you can see it's loading up fairly quickly. I can split screen on these. So if you load the application at the moment, one of the things you'll notice is it is work in progress. Anything that's grayed out at the moment, it literally is the work in progress. So I've got majority of the base functions working now. So splitting the screen out, as in this example here. These all have overflow. So if I load too many of these up, one of the things that I tend to find a slight issue if I load too many things is then finding where they've gone. So I've got this sort of concept of an overflow here, and it means that if I select something from the overflow, it's going to bring it back into focus on this side. I can go into full screen on here, and I've got an app drawer. So this basically puts me into sort of a Zen type mode. One of the good things, because this is a browser, it means I can also use the browser zoom. So if I just do a Control+ a couple of times, you can see that's zooming in for me. I've added a light mode on here. So we can go to a light mode. I've also got this sort of concept of having accents, so you can customize the look and feel slightly on here. The editor itself is built on top of Monaco. So Monaco is a JavaScript library, and Monaco is the editor that's used inside VS Code. So some aspects of this are going to look slightly familiar. So, for instance, if I click F1 inside the editor itself, it's going to bring up the Monaco ID in here, and I can use various. What can I search on URL? So that's going to provide all the functionality that's there already inside the editor. So it's quite nice to be able to leverage on those aspects. We can turn the line numbers on. Also at the bottom here, you can see the line number and column is quite responsive. So there's a wiring. If I had time, I'd show you the back end of what's going on in terms of the action. So there's like an action queue for all the events that are happening inside the SPA. So it's a little bit like Redux in a way. So I'm not using React or Angular or any of those types of frameworks because they tend to be not so performant in certain types of conditions. And I think for something like an editor, you're working against the grain slightly because you're in terms of something like React, you're thinking about should I update? And if you're starting to have to think about should I update a lot, then you start to negate the benefits that you get from having something like the virtual DOM. So in this instance, the best way really is just to work with the DOM itself. If I change to on's namespace. So again, it just takes a few seconds to reload everything in, but there's so many things that can be done to either lazy load or cache aspects of what's being loaded at this stage. But I think to have to do it once is not a big deal at the moment. So let me just try to remember where this is. Hub, standalone. Okay, so I'm just going to open up a DTL in here at the moment. So one of the things that I've been looking at is how can we so I think of all the various editors that we have that we can use with Iris, obviously Classic Studio is still a really good product, and I tend to use it 95% of the time still, because the environments where I work in, it's slightly more difficult to install VS Code as a fit client in those instances, and because there are so many servers as well, it doesn't quite lend itself. So I've been looking at the idea of, well, how could we solve this as a server-side solution, and try and integrate it in a way where it's on par with Classic Studio. So in the sense that it would need to do all of the things that Classic Studio does, such as being able to do DTL editing and BPL editing, etc. So in this wiring I've done here is to use one of the modes that Classic Studio uses to bring the editor in. I actually do a little bit of CSS manipulation on this one. So it's loaded into an iframe, and then the JavaScript just cleans up a few things. So it just basically gives you a slightly neater view of things. And it's quite nice because if you put it into this mode, then if you've got a really large DTL that you're editing, it's quite nice to be able to just see everything in one sort of go like that. Let's see what else. So this is a browser app, but what we can do is I can create a shortcut and make it open as a window. So if I just create that, so I can minimize this. So you can see now it's got rid of all the extra Chrome browser tabs, etc. at the top. And if I tell it to pin to taskbar now, so I've just gone through those two steps. I've not installed anything, but now I've got an app icon on my bottom bar, and I can click that. That's going to load up the application and take me straight in. So I kind of get the benefits of doing that. So this is, I think probably you can't see this very well. So the good thing is that's my very cheap Fire tablet, but I do have a quick demo that I recorded earlier. So this is me just loading the same application that you just looked at into my Android application. And I've got touch events working alongside the click events. So this works on my finger. I'm just using a pen for this demo. And you can see it's still quite highly performant. All the tabs are working, the menus are working. One of the nice things actually, I think, sort of having played about with this a little bit, is that, you're probably not going to go and develop applications on a tablet, but there's something quite nice, when you're working on a problem. Sometimes you just want to be in a think mode. You want to look at your code, take it away, sit with a coffee. And this is great because I've loaded up literally the application itself, and I've gone and sat with a coffee in the garden and looked over my code, seen a problem, come back, and I fixed it. So there's something, again, quite nice about doing that. But also, I brought up the DCL in there. If you're in the office, it'd be quite cool. You don't want to carry your laptop around to one of your colleagues, but you can pick up the tablet and go and share it. So that's most things. It is on ZPM now. It's work in progress. I'm aiming to get an alpha release out in a couple of weeks. So use it at your own risk at the moment. I've got lots of plans for it. There's a big roadmap. I've put them up on GitHub. I don't think there's anything I've missed on here. There's launches here for going from the namespace we're loaded into to like the management portal, which is quite nice. Also, the project I put in last month was an ultra-fast search for text-based buckets. So you can see how quickly that comes back. So the idea is to integrate this into the IDE itself, so that searching at the moment, if you search through your code, it can take a little while. And if you didn't get it right the first time, you have to type something else. And so it kind of interrupts your flow when you're developing. So I want to basically take this solution here and build that directly in, which I think would be probably quite useful. And obviously there's some productivity areas I want to work on as well. So I've probably gone over in 5 minutes, but that's the basic idea.
Great job. I love the customizations and the ability to take your code out to the garden or a meeting room. Great concept. Any quick comments from the team? All right, then let's jump over to the top winner, Evgeniy Potapov, for water conditions in Europe.
Yes, hello. Hello, thank you, Dean. Hello, everyone. I'm Evgeniy. I'm the leader of the team of BI team, analytics team. And I have made this application not alone, but and unfortunately, other teammates cannot be today with us. It will be interesting, but maybe next time. And I will make a short demo. I want to take you at a 20 minutes journey to launch the application. Maybe next time, but not today. Okay, I will tell you a story how we did it. I was sitting and think what to show, what to use, what the data to take to show all the power of the range of BI tools. And the water is what is interesting. We have an open data set about the conditions of water in Europe, of the rivers, ponds, and other lakes. And we have information about the sun periods from 19th till 2017. So we've uploaded this information from CSV files into IRIS, and maybe we will use Python Flask to make front end and to watch all the tools. And also we can use by embedded Python some machine learning case. Yes. So we have written train code, how to train the neural link. What is it? Neural network. And the other idea was to, if we can have a form in which we can input the number of here, till that this model will count the values, possible values, yes? And in general, the code is here, but we rejected this moment because of it's too slow to have it online. And then we decided to, okay, let it be here in this repo. Maybe someone interested in that solution will disassemble that and maybe use it in the next project. So we've made a dashboard. Yes, yeah. The application looks like that. We have timeline made in the dash based on Python, and we can play like a movie, like an animation, in which country the worst water. Yes, and starting from 2017, the water. Yes, the water is only in France is bad because we counted only one river in France. So sorry guys, who can't watch it, but just for example, it can be calculated. Maybe if we've started that process 10 days ago, then today it will be all the rivers and lakes and ponds and all what have water be calculated, but we did not. Okay, we'll build IRIS BI dashboard. Yes, I think that everyone have seen once live. Okay, and we use how to say it, intersystem adaptive analytics powered by AtScale. Yes, and we've made a cube in that system. Used the project from the last year, it still works, from AtScale. We have here a cube. It takes data from IRIS and it can give data to another systems like a Power BI, Tableau, or something which can connect from JDBC or maybe MDX or ODBC. Yes. So we've built a Logi report. It is implemented here as a PDF file. It is static, but it shows something. Yes, something that is useful to have that reports on emails or maybe in folders or something another type, another kind. We have Power BI report. Yes, and it works interactive. We can select something, we can unselect something, or we can select only the only values. Yes, and click on that and watch details and see what's happening. And also we have Tableau report. All that dashboards are stored in the GitHub. Everyone who wants to disassemble or to dig it can do that. It's open. It can be set up on local machine if you have licenses, and you can watch that in your hands. So my point was to just to make curious this application, to bring interest for that. So I will not describe how it was, how it works inside of under the hood. Just take and look at it, and it uses the range, the large range of technologies, and it's interesting. It's open, it's public, so you can use it too.
Fantastic.
That's all that I want to say. Thank you, guys.
Great job using adaptive analytics, inspiring use of it. In fact, any quick comments from the team? All right. I want to thank you all for innovating on InterSystems technology. It's amazing to see the work that you do. Please keep it up. I know that we're going to see many of you at our Global Summit Developer Conference in just over a week. I know José is invited because he's a moderator in our InterSystems developer community. I know Muhammad won a competition in our Global Masters program and is invited. And I know Dmitry will be in our partner portal. So very excited to see those and others of you at the conference. Thank you for participating in our Grand Prix contest. We're planning out our next contest and we'll be announcing it soon in the InterSystems developer community. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. I also second Dean that this was amazing contest and you did fantastic innovations with InterSystems technology, and well done, well deserved, and it's really InterSystems Grand Prix of this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Evgeniy.